One sunny afternoon, Alice was sitting with her sister near the riverbank when she grew bored. She was starting to drift off when suddenly, a white rabbit with a waistcoat and a pocket watch ran past her, muttering to himself, "I'm late, I'm late." Intrigued, Alice followed the rabbit, and to her surprise, he hopped down a rabbit hole. Without hesitation, Alice followed him. She tumbled down a long tunnel and landed in a strange, colorful world called Wonderland. Everything around her was bizarre. Trees had faces, flowers could talk, and animals were far from ordinary. She was amazed, but also a little confused. Alice soon found herself in front of a small door, which was locked. To her dismay, she realized she was too big to fit through it. On a nearby table, she found a bottle labeled, "Drink Me." After taking a sip, Alice began to shrink, but she became too small to reach the key on the table. In her frustration, she ate a cake that was labeled, "Eat Me," and this time, she grew so tall that her head hit the ceiling. She felt like she was constantly changing sizes, unsure of how to control it. As Alice wandered through Wonderland, she encountered many strange creatures. First, she met the white rabbit again, who seemed in a hurry, and was scolding her for being late. Then she came across the Cheshire Cat, a mischievous feline with a wide grin. The cat told Alice that everyone in Wonderland was mad, but he directed her to the March Hare's tea party, where she could meet the Mad Hatter and the Dormouse. The tea party was chaotic. The Mad Hatter and the March Hare argued over nonsense, and the Dormouse kept falling asleep. They invited Alice to join, but the conversation was so strange that Alice didn't know what to make of it. Every time she asked a question, she was met with a riddle or an absurd response. Next, Alice ventured into the Queen of Hearts' garden, where she met a group of playing cards painting white roses red to avoid the Queen's wrath. The Queen, known for her temper, was quick to shout, "Off with their heads," at anyone who displeased her, and Alice was almost sentenced to be beheaded for daring to stand up to her. Alice, however, wasn't intimidated. She continued on her journey, eventually finding herself in a croquet match where the Queen used flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The game was impossible to understand, but Alice stayed on, determined to learn more about the strange world she had entered. The Queen of Hearts eventually decided to put Alice on trial, accusing her of stealing tarts. The trial was absurd, filled with nonsensical accusations and witnesses who didn't make any sense. Alice, growing bolder, stood up to the Queen and her court, declaring, "Who cares for you? You're nothing but a pack of cards." In a flash, the cards flew at Alice, and everything around her started to fade. She found herself back on the riverbank, waking up beside her sister. The events of Wonderland had been a strange dream. As Alice sat up, she couldn't help but smile, realizing that despite the madness of Wonderland, she had learned something valuable. Wonderland had shown her the importance of curiosity, bravery, and the ability to stand up for what she believed in. Although she was back in the real world, the lessons of Wonderland would stay with her forever. And so, Alice's adventure in Wonderland ended, but the memories of her wild journey would remain in her heart forever.